Hey, what's up, everybody? Just killing some time on a Sunday afternoon. Darcy and I were just kind of hanging out thinking what we should do to the car, and we figured it's been a while since we've done a soundproofing project. So I'm going to look at two things today that I've read on the internet. One is soundproofing the wheel wells. The other is looking around the front of the windshield glass to see if there are any gaps in the sealant which could cause some wind noise. So the first one I want to try is looking at that windshield, but what I didn't want to do is go out and buy a, very expensive, fancy flyer thermal imaging camera. So instead, I'm just gonna crank the heat up and see if I can tell with my hand if there's any places where the heat's coming through. Not scientific at all, but that's okay. So we're going to turn the heat to high. So while that's heating up, just kind of a quick reminder that the sound in the Model 3 is not actually worse than other cars. Maybe when you get into the extreme luxury end, it's a little bit worse, but there is no engine noise to hide the wind noise and the tire noise, so it is a little bit, I guess, worse. So you can see that when I tested it against a Cadillac ATS, you can see the link up over here. So this is really more about trying to make it super quiet rather than it being bad in the grand scheme of things. I've found that on higher speeds, so anything over 75, or roads that aren't well paved and have kind of some grooves in the asphalt, you really hear it. So this is my attempt at trying to make it better. So if you're new to the channel, I'll put a link to the soundproofing series up here. You can see where I've done some Dynamat as well as the door seals and how that tests. So what this is not is a scientific test. I do my best to actually see if it makes a difference using a decibel meter, but it's in no way scientific because I can't control all the variables. I do try and drive on the same road at the same time of day with the same weather conditions, blah, blah, blah. But it's only a reference. Everyone's going to have their own reaction to the sound and what helps and what doesn't, but I'm hoping in the next round of cars, especially the Cybertruck, since I'm going to get one, that they do a better job with the soundproofing. All right, so we're down in the garage. The car has heated up to 81 degrees at this point. I'm not sure just how far it will go, but I'm going to shut the door and let it go a little longer on high and see where we get. For reference, the ambient temperature down here is just about 60. So hopefully that gives enough differential so I can tell if there's any wind coming through the windshield, if there are any gaps in the sealant. I'm gonna put it in to put the wipers into service mode, which is the first time I've ever done this. So we'll see what it does, but it should get them out of the way. There they go, they're up out of the way now so I can see the gap on the bottom edge. All right, while the car's warming up, I figured I might as well dive in and figure out just how to get to the edge of the windshield. My guess is it's covered, but let's take a look. So it turns out that it is covered. You can't easily get to the edge. It's under a piece of plastic, so I guess we're gonna do a little surgery. I figured why not? All right, so I think it should all just snap together. It seems to. You always want to be careful with these things, because if you break the clips, then you have to go get new ones, and I broke a bunch when I was taking it apart the first time to do some of the sound insulation, and now I just don't have any because I've been too lazy to go get them. All right, first piece out still doesn't get you there. So the more I look at this, the more I realize that I'm actually going to have to take things really apart rather than the snap clips. The windshield wipers go through this piece of plastic, and there is no easy way to get that off. I'm still debating here. Let's see what I decide. So here's the verdict. It's way bigger of a project than I thought it would be, and frankly, I don't even know if there's a leak down here yet. I'm not feeling any heat. The car is heated up to about 85 now, so I'm not feeling any leaks, but I think this is one where it actually might make sense to get the flyer camera first, see if there's a leak before I start ripping the car apart. What do you guys think? Should I get one? Should I just rip it apart anyway? Leave a note in the comments below. Well, since that one didn't work out, on to soundproofing the wheel wells. I'm probably going to do just the fronts today to see what that does. Hopefully I'll have enough time. If not, it's just going to be the driver's front that happens today. Well, as I'm sure everyone knows, you got to be pretty careful when you're lifting your Tesla. There's a bunch of jack points to make sure that you don't hurt your battery, and you've got to use one of these. Basically, it's just a pad that plugs into the, there's a hole where this goes in under the car, and then you lift this and not the car. That way you're going to make sure you don't hurt your battery. Well, as you guys may have noticed, I may have a slight connection with Snap-on, and love every second of it. Gonna take advantage of it. They make great stuff, and it's got a lifetime warranty, so you might as well get some. Well, I'm gonna do my best to show you what's up in here for those who haven't seen the inside before. There is what is like a felt pad in there. Obviously all the suspension, the brakes, and down here you can see one of the clips that hold that felt pad on. There's, I think, 7 of them, so I'm gonna go to work and pop those out. Well, after digging around in there for way too long trying to use a camera light, I forgot I had this. Way better. Well, my initial count was way off. There's 14 of these little clips on each wheel. My guess, I'm only doing this one today. Once you get those clips out of the way, this actually should come right out pretty easily. And it turns out I probably missed one. Well, it's never as easy as you think it's going to be. There's actually a bolt down there as well, and for those who are interested, it's an 11mm. All right, attempt number 2. With all the fasteners pulled out this time, you should just be able to take this thing and pull it right out of the car. All right, after not too much work, we got to where we wanted to get. It's kind of this area right here that I want to kind of cover up and see if it makes any difference. Maybe right here as well, where it goes into the door. You know, there are some fasteners and fluid lines and those sort of things you need to work around, but I'm hoping putting a little in there will make a difference. All right, now that we got everything out of there, here comes the hard part or easy part, I don't know, we're gonna find out. Cutting and fitting Dynamat. Basically you just cut it, use a roller to make it stick. You should probably do some cleaning first, just to make sure there's no dirt there, and you cover the spots where you think vibration or noise are going through. That's how stuff's supposed to go back together. You'd never know I did anything. All right, real quick outro here before my battery dies. First things first, always expect projects to take longer than you want them to. I got one wheel done and didn't get to the windshield, but hey, it's a good start. So with that, I'm not going to be able to share any results today. I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of flack from the audience for it, but they are coming. They'll be in the next video, probably after I do the next wheel well and consider if I'm going to actually rip out the plastic so I can get to the windshield. Let me know if you want to see that. Well, I was really close before the battery died. That's another thing I gotta order. More batteries on their way. Anyway, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. If you're buying a Tesla, use my referral code. There's links to the Dynamat in the description below. And before you dive in, keep in mind that this is a bit of a project. If you're not savvy, don't start it. And if you're not OCD about the sound of the car, you probably don't need to do it. But hey, anyway, fun project for me. Talk to you next time.